One reaction with Levy, and welcome back to the daily one reaction. We have a big weekend of sports to recap. Let's start with Bucks Suns. It was a great one. Game 5. It was the pivotal point in the series. The winner of Game 5 is projected to win an NBA Finals about 72% of the time, or any game, best of 7 series for that matter. So now the Bucks won that. They're in control. They have the next game 6 at home. They won 123-119, and of course the difference that everyone's talking about was Drew Holiday. He was terrific. It was the one game that he's played well in this series, offensively as well as defensively. He had 27 points. The big three for Milwaukee was simply better, and they controlled the game. Rebounding, huge advantage to Milwaukee in this one. Huge. Even though it was only a 2-point difference, two percentage difference, Bucks just weren't in control on the rebounding after, especially in that second quarter where they came back after the Phoenix hot start. Phoenix was hot. They shot 68% from three, and they still lost the game. And we can point to the reasons why they lost, but I'm gonna talk about Chris Paul. He did not look good. He hasn't played well all series. The foul on Giannis on the alley-oop doesn't bode well for him as well. Devin Booker played out of his mind, had 40 again. Ayton bounced back with 20 and 10. So if you're looking at Phoenix right now, how do you get back in the series? How do you win Game 6 and Game 7? There's not a lot of ways you can do it because no Dario Saric means their second center is not as good. Their bench has struggled in this series mightily now, which is because they can't defend or can't control the paint without DeAndre Ayton on the floor. So he played 44 minutes in Game 5. I expect him to play similar amounts in Game 6. Can he hold up? That will be the question. Jay Crowder played 40 minutes. I mean, these guys played a huge amount of minutes, and having no center has really disrupted the rhythm of what Monty Williams needs to do. Devin Booker had a career game, 17 from 33 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3, had 40 points. They still lost. That really doesn't bode well for me if I'm looking at, okay, how can Phoenix win? Meanwhile, Milwaukee, they've got one clear advantage, and the clear advantage is that they got the best player in this series, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis had 32, 9, and 6, just completely dominating DeAndre Ayton defensively on the offensive and defensive side of the basketball. The ability of him to play and the ability of Bobby Portis to come in and deliver. Pat Connaughton to have 14. They played really well. And PJ Tucker affecting the game in multiple ways. It's just I thought going into the series, I had the Suns in 5, and I said the Suns were healthier. The Suns had a better bench. The Suns had the better coach. And those were my reasons. And once Giannis came back healthy, and you saw what he could do in Game 3, in which he completely took over the basketball game. Completely took it over. I mean, just in every way possible. You got to be like, okay, this guy is the best player in this series, and he's probably one of the, if not the best player in the world right now. And he continues to show why. Yeah, he might struggle at the free throw line, but he went 14 for 23 from the field, 4 for 11 from the free throw line. Not great. But he hasn't taken the threes. He's just dominating inside, and he's basically unstoppable for Phoenix. Phoenix more of a finesse team. Milwaukee pounding it inside. They played together in Game 5. I expect them to play similarly in Game 6. I think they found the rhythm. I think they found the matchups. And I think it's going to be very tough for Phoenix to win without Chris Paul being unbelievable in Game 6 and DeAndre Ayton showing some defensive prowess against Giannis Antetokounmpo, because I don't know what else they turn to. Because easily what can happen in Game 6 is DeAndre Ayton gets in foul trouble early and the Bucks win by 20. That could easily happen. Phoenix has to avoid that. They got to hit their shots like they did. They went 68% from three, and they still lost. That is not good news. It feels like the Bucks are the better team. They got the best player. They have more depth right now, which is crazy to say. And this Dario Saric injury has really flipped the series. It really has. And no production out of a Jalen Smith or off the bench has been another thing that Phoenix just has to deal with. And it's going to be very tough for them to come back and win this series unless a guy, maybe Crowder, Bridges, Cam Johnson, they just pop off and score. Or maybe a Cameron Point 29-point Cameron Payne game might be in store if the Phoenix Suns want to win Game 6. Okay, let's move to the Open Championship. Colin Morikawa, 15 under, winning. He was unbelievable. He was 4 under, 66 on Sunday to win his second major, his second round of links golf, apparently. He won it, the Open Championship. He played in the Scottish Open the week before and then won the Open Championship. He's got great mental toughness watching him. The announcers were all over it. He was locked in. I thought Jordan Spieth played really well. John Rahm had a nice comeback there. Koepka played really well. But another story we have is Louis Oosthuizen falling off completely. He continues to be that second guy in all these major tournaments. He's always in it. He just can't close it out in round 4. Shot 71. He was 4 back and tied for third. So Morikawa winning the last major of the year. Let's go into some baseball just quickly. Yankees, they win 2 out of 3 from Boston this weekend. I think it's a big, big, big win for them. I really do. I think it shows that the Yankees, when they don't have their best players, they have more lefties in the lineup. They don't hit as many home runs. They go small ball a little bit more, and it kind of changes the way they play them. It kind of changes their energy. Rougned Odor giving big line last night. Gleyber Torres 2 home runs in the past 2 games. Maybe that's something to see going forward. So a lot to like about what you see when the Yankees. This happened 2 years ago. When the Yankees get hurt, they have guys that come in. They're fast. They're not as talented, but they provide energy and they provide some lefty hitting. It'll be interesting to see what the Yankees do at the deadline currently. So, as much as we want to talk about how much the Yankees have struggled, they've won 2 out of 3 against the Astros. Should have swept them, if not for the last game. And they've won 2 out of 3 versus the first place Boston Red Sox. Now they got a homestand with the Phillies, where I expect them to struggle a bit because they don't have their pitching. But the Boston series next week, 4 games set in Boston, will tell me a lot about where the Yankees are at. Maybe they make a trade before then. They're looking at Starling Marte. They're looking at Ketel Marte. They're looking at Joey Gallo. Severino coming back in a month. So if you're a Yankee fan, there is a realistic path for them moving forward. Other teams I like trending forward here in the second half. Toronto Blue Jays. They go home July 30th. I think things turn back to normal. They're 6 games back. They played really well coming out of the All-Star break. Vlad Guerrero Jr. is maybe the MVP, if not for Shohei Ohtani. He has 31 home runs, best batting average in baseball. He's been terrific. Another team I like coming out of the AL West. It is the Oakland Athletics. This is just something to do with Houston. I think they've struggled in the past couple games. I like Oakland. I like their pitching. I like their hitting. They're a small market, and they always make a run. So I kind of like them in the American League to make a little bit of a run. Maybe the Twins do something as well in the AL Central. Moving forward in the NL East, it's heating up. Mets, Phillies, Braves, all right there as well with the Nationals and Marlins. Brewers still in firm control of the NL Central after a big series with the Reds this weekend. They played the Reds they've played them 7 games in a row now. They swept them this weekend in Cincinnati to get a 7-game lead in that race. Giants, Dodgers, that series starts tonight. So there's a lot of interesting series starting this week. Let's see where everything shakes out as we head down the stretch. But if you look at zoom out a bit in the American League, if you're a Yankee fan, you're like, who's besides Boston, who are you really scared of? Maybe Tampa Bay, but they're not as talented as they were last year. White Sox, I don't know if they can pull it together. I don't know if they have the lineup to do it. Astros, they have struggled, and it's going to be interesting to see who comes out of the AL, the National League. Giants, the surprise contenders. Of course, you got the Dodgers and Padres. Brewers with pitching. Cubs are out of it. And I think the Mets have a realistic shot. So it's going to be interesting going down the stretch what these contending teams seem to do as we head to the trade deadline within a week. So that is my MLB little snippet as we head towards the trade deadline. We got the Gold Cup as well. U.S. moving on after a 1-0 victory in Canada. Again, no Pulisic, Reina, so that's interesting stuff there. So one reaction with Levy, the daily one reaction here on Monday, July 19th.